happened? Look, my pot, it cleft. And I will sing the Rock of Ages cleft to me. My pot, it double B. So here we go. I have several topics to talk about this morning. So in the title, let's cover a few of the things in the title first. First of all, I want to make everybody aware. If you see this hat and I'm wearing well, you should know. You should know. If I'm wearing the fedora and I'm talking about the Church of Christians Plus, you are getting scammed, according to some bloggers on the internet. But that's okay, as long as you know and I know and everybody else knows that if you see the fedora, there is a percentage that you're getting scammed, especially if I mention the Church of Christians Plus. Just take it with a grain of salt and remember those three things, ladies and gentlemen. It is better for you to give and for me to receive than it is the other way around. In the name of the Lord, amen. And that Big E, she, and me will soon be singing together. Kumbaya around the fire. So with that, let's get to the title and the show notes that I have prepared for you today. And in addition to the things I mentioned, if I have time, I'm going to talk machine learning and algorithms, baby, because whatever you wish to believe in regards to the way YouTube works, I'll explain to you in a systematic order of how machine learning works and also how algorithms work. And algorithms have been something that's been around since the 1990s. However, the machines that utilize algorithms, they have become much more sophisticated, to the point where if I were to pick up my cam and turn it around towards the screen and put on some of my videos, just show you any frame from any one of 4 videos that I have posted at the $20 or above Patreon level as unlisted videos, my live stream would go down immediately. It would just fail. I've done it on a practice run. As soon as I turn the cam around and I show you a picture of a bridge I was standing on, then the live stream goes offline. Big E, welcome to the machine. Larry, expat prepper, welcome to the machine. And Big E, I did see the singing episode that you put on last night. It was excellent. Chi's voice is coming along. Actually, I do believe that there has been some sort of angelic inference moving into her soul, because her voice has become angelic. It's almost as if you had a church choir sitting on shoulders, and the not noise. That's a bad word. Not the noise. The noise is a bad word. The sound that comes out of Chi's throat is just. Let me tell you, everybody, right now, what Chi Caceres did for me. What Chi Caceres did for me. Okay, so years ago, I went to an ear and nose specialist in Bohol. Okay, but all right, I'll do the. So years ago, I went to an eye, ear, and nose throat specialist in Bohol and said I have wax in my ears, and they charged me, I think it was 500 or 1,500 pesos. I have a video of it somewhere. but they looked in my ears and said I don't have wax in my ears. So they wanted to charge me. I got it reduced down in price. I did. I said, you didn't do the work. Why are you charging me the full entry fee? And they kind of agreed to that. So, but then I went to Daisy's home city of Davao. That doctor, just a few weeks later, he looked in my ears and said, you have wax in your ears. We're going to use this like a pressure washing machine. And part of the machine pumped high pressure water into my ear, and the other part sucked the water out of my ear or drained out. It depends on what part of the machine he was utilizing. So that cost, and that was only 1,000 pesos. What Chi Cortez did for me in for free is listen to Chi Corsair singing, if that's what you want to call it. When you listen to Chi Corsair singing, you ever hear that song, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor? Okay, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor. Well, Chi Corsair singing did for me what the doctors couldn't do. Because when Chi Corsair sings, the wax hits the floor. This stuff just, it just shoots out of your ears from both sides. At first, it looks like smoke if you're looking in a mirror or you're looking in the cam. The little pieces of wax, they just fly out of your ears. It's like an ultrasound or an ultrasonic burst into the deepest part of the eardrums themselves. And the wax just starts falling down. You could feel it falling into, and you go like this. Then you could see it on your shoulders. And when you shake your shirt, it hits your feet. That's what Chi Corsair's singing could do. I think it's a blessing because she just saved me 1,000 pesos, which means what you should do is go to the Chi Corsair's show and listen to the heavens angels on her shoulders. So Big E says, yes. That was funny. All right, so go Bobo sister. Wow, we have a full house here. We have a full house from the Big E show. So we could talk about the Big E. I want to tell you, I made a video that only a few people will ever see. Okay, those are my friends, and then they are the members of my Super Chat community at the $20 or above level, and the people that have been members of my Super Chat community. So only a few people know what I actually do. So, and that's okay, because it's okay. So the fact that I have come to know Big E in a way that I did, I've always said this. At first, there was a lot of conflict between the two of us, but I decided to make an effort to reach out to Big E and say, maybe I made a mistake to myself. And then I realized I made a mistake, because what you don't realize about Big E is that the thing, oh my God, look at my hair. I got to go, oh God, my hair's enough. And what I realized is that Big E actually has the benefit of the community at heart. Okay, now he does way better videos than I do, way much better. His research into the material when it comes to religion and Bible study far exceeds that of even the people that do it professionally on the internet. Not only that, he's well read, more so than anybody I know. So he actually he can rattle off the names and the author of books that some I've heard of and some I haven't. But he explained he used to read a book a week. He also explained that he's a chemical engineer, at which time now, without any proof, I believe to be factual. So if you hear stories about Big E not knowing about the Bible, per se, the Bible. More specifically, he uses the King James Bible. But if you hear any stories about Big E not understanding about chemical engineering or the Bible, what I want you to do is set those stories aside and go listen to him talk, especially when it comes to the combination of chemicals that he can rattle off the numbers of the chemicals and the formula for each chemical. Now, you just can't do that off the top of your head. Of course, he could be reading from a book, but then he would have to know where to look in the book. So the stories about Big E, go, the Book of Earl. Is that like the Duke of Earl? The stories that you hear about Big E. Now, digressing back. So what Big E has accomplished is to bring probably a group of about 60 people together that normally would not have been together. They would have not culminated on my channel. And now he's doing this karaoke / singing thing on his channel. And he gives each person the opportunity in the chat window to say what they want, as long as it's not derogatory towards another blogger. But more than that, he allows each person to come onto his live stream and sing. Now, I can't sing, so I would be the last person to criticize anybody else's singing. But he does that in a way that has brought together unlikely friendships. Expat Preppa has his philosophy. I have my philosophy. Big E has her philosophy, his philosophy. Chi has her philosophy. Honeyco has her way of living. Arciela's Corner has her way of thinking. And the list goes on. These are people from diversified parts of life. But what he has managed to do through the singing videos and the karaoke is he has managed to give everybody a platform. Jack Thompson, Kanoy in the Philippines, even myself, but I can't get on the live stream, to be able to sing, and everybody on the platform knows about Chi Corsair's singing. I'm trying to figure out a way to put an automatic mute on when Chi Corsair. No, I'm only kidding. She sings like Heaven's Angel. So, but each person that comes on and sings worse or better than the person before. But everybody on the show says, you have a good voice. Now, that's a lie, but it's a good and a funny and an upbeat lie. So basically what I'm saying, on Big E's channel, you have a diversification of people that far exceeds anybody else's diversity that I know of. You have people like myself that pretty much have a simple platform of just a few people because of the machine learning and algorithms. So let's go to the comments, and then I'll go back to the Warren H update. It's, in a way, it's good. Okay, Larry is going to get in touch with me from Expat Preppa. That's great, Larry. I saw your comment on Big E's show yesterday about the Magic Jack. Big E, I want to tell you something about that gentleman that you referred to go to his page last night, where 12 or 13 people went to his page, and he interviewed the man named Mike. And then they were talking about the WHO and whether or not there were truisms in what they said. I listened to the show for 50 minutes, Big E, and they didn't criticize the organization for putting out false or half-truths. And they not once did they come down in a demeaning manner. And at the 50-minute mark, I wrote them a note saying that it seems like you're giving the WHO a pass. And you went from 16 subscribers or 16 commenters down to 3, myself being one, the interviewer being the second and the interviewee the third. So you might want to talk to that man about being a bit more aggressive, or in fact, possibly even criticizing the organization for the half truths. Now, I have on my screen that I'm going to have to do towards the end of the video, because even if I turn my cam around and give you the videos that I have about the half truths and or complete lies from that organization, the video, my live stream will be shut off. That's how smart machine learning has got. So Gogo Bobo Sister says, hello, Mike. Big E says, that's way too funny. The Chi ultrasound song could be any song, too. I mean, that stuff. Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the wax hit the floor, let the wax hit the floor. The stuff pops out of your ears. It's called scalation, not scalation. It's scaling, but the scaling, there's a word, I forget the word. It's a word that when scalated or scalated, it's a word when something like rust blisters off a piece of metal. It's like that, but you can feel it. You can feel the stuff popping off the inside of your ears. So, and Gogo says that Big E needs singing lessons. Now there's another conundrum. Big E goes through the trouble of singing these songs. And his voice, he's not a singer, but he has no embarrassment at all about singing. And the songs that he sings, forget about his voice, but listen to the words. He's pretty much an upbeat, upscale, positive person in almost every venue of his singing. When he sings Amazing Grace, I think that was the first time I ever heard the words to Amazing Grace, because I don't listen to Amazing Grace. If someone plays it on their channel, I just turn the channel off. But when I listened to Big E sing Amazing Grace, there were words at the end of the song. I never heard those words before, because I was interested in the words that he sang. I was interested in listening to Big E sing. So, yes, you can sing. And then Big E says, yes, you can sing on his show. That's the beauty of diversity. But the diversity part is the people that go to Big E's show and do the singing are all from all over the place and all over the world. And everybody makes fun of everybody else and then gives it an LOL at the end of the commentary or the comments. And that is in itself creating comments between the commenters, between each other. And they are becoming friendly or creating friendships between each other, because Big E has brought some kind of special thing to the YouTube community. And his topic matter is also diversified. And some of the stuff he said is funny, like that the girl that was short, and if she was very short and you were very tall, certain things could happen relatively easy. I damn near fell off my box, my wooden box, laughing when you said that. I'm going, oh my God. But he says some off the chain stuff, and then understanding that he really has a good heart and he's doing this to make people think, then you understand that his mission has been accomplished. The fact that he has helped Chi and Honeyco is starting to come out of her cocoon and speak a little louder, not loud enough, but a little bit louder. And Tannoy is there, and get back to the comments. And then we're going to talk about Warren H. We're going to give you a computer update. I'm going to give you a Patreon update. No, burping the Star Spangled Banner doesn't count. But If you could do it on the Big E show, I'm sure that people would enjoy that, expat prepper. Chevy Boy 711. Chevy. I had a Chevy. I had two Chevys. Chevy Camaro. It wasn't the Super Sport. It was something else. Era 3500 truck. Can't say a bad word about either one of those. Okay, so Big E said, okay, so there's another factor of Big E. He said a long time ago he had a degree in chemical engineering. I've never seen any proof to that, but I listened to him. I believe it's true. So I don't need proof for certain things. You can listen to somebody's voice off these big words. So he's saying in the comments section, I had to do an online teaching in Dubai. I only could stay for 15 minutes last night. Well, that was an interesting show nonetheless. I listened to it. Probably I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to talk to Warren. Okay. Okay. That sounds good, Biggie. He contacted me about your comments. Yeah, well, that's cool. So, no, expat prepper, I don't know the story about how Amazing Grace. I don't listen to Bible hymns. And look, I'm gonna cut to the chase here. I don't believe in organized religion. Okay, I don't believe that singing per se in a church or a building with people that are what I have found to be hypocrites is going to bring anybody's soul to God. That's why I don't listen to Bible hymns or research Bible hymns or research anything to do about churches anymore. I already discovered that the Catholic Church that I was brought up in is totally hypocritical, and they're sanctimonious hypocrites, in my opinion. So I don't want to get involved with learning about Bible hymns or Bible study. I enjoy making fun of people. I even enjoyed Big E singing them, but I got to tell you, Larry, there's this topic is about Bible and Christians. You'll lose the audience in seconds if you start talking about Bible hymns. And I have a small enough audience as it is. None of the people that I associate with in my personal circle, none of them that I send out private emails to, none of my Patreon members, none at all, zero, want to hear about anything upbeat about Bible hymns or organized religion. Now, if I'm mistaken, somebody can put a comment up there if you're a member of my Patreon member and you want to see my philosophy of the Catholic Church, then you'll have to pay $20 to see how much I dislike the Vatican. Okay, but if you want to post stuff about religion, Larry, that seems to be your forte. You are welcome to do so, but I will not respond to any more comments about religion or philosophy. I have other topics that I have my notes set on, and I'm not going to spend the time to talk about religion. I don't believe in organized religion. None, zero, nada, humana, wallah, nothing. I don't believe in any organized religion. Big E said it best on his show. Where 2 or 3 people gather in my name, that is where the Spirit of the Lord is. Worshipping idols, churches, rocks, crosses, statues, virgins, saints, all that stuff, St. Anthony, St. John, Saint whatever, all that's nonsense. It's at best, it's white magic. At worst, it's Wicca, okay? There is nothing in organized religion, from my point of view, that has any merit other than the fact, if you stick to the basic tenets of the Bible, and more specifically, the New Testament of the Bible, I think that would make the world a better place. But and this is where Big E and I differ. And I'll explain to you, Larry, why I don't believe in organized religion or songs or hymns. I believe, this is my belief, I believe something from the future went back in time and wrote the Bible, or something that existed back in time created the future. But I don't believe the Bible was written by God per se. But I do believe anything that could have accomplished the task of writing the Bible was godlike and can perform miracles. I do believe in miracles. I've seen it, heard it, and experienced miracles. But I don't believe per se it's God. Now, is there a higher power? Yes, but it has nothing at all to do with songs or hymns or Bible study or fellowship in the church. Okay, if you haven't read my book, then you can't comprehend what I'm saying. I explain it very clearly in Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio. So if you want to believe in an organized religion, if that's what brings your chi or power or kai into a higher level of consciousness, that's great. But I have learned in 10 years on YouTube talking about the Catholic Church or the Protestant Church in and of itself per se as a saving method is worthless. It doesn't bring any merit to people that are false teachers. And there are enough of those without me joining the bunch. But I will tell you that if you see the fedora and you see me talk about the Church of Christians Plus, understand that the money that you send to the Church of Christians Plus will be spent on the most beneficial things for the YouTube community, aka a computer, and or the peripherals that go along with the computer. And eventually there'll be a church building with a ministry devoted specifically for dating women in the Philippines of a higher quality, with background checks from Big E and Sue. And there will also be a food kitchen. Although the neighborhood I live in, everybody has a job or has foods. Nobody on my block walks down the block asking for money. So if I walk past their house and they invite me into their yard, they will ask me for a 100 peso loan, or for instance, over the Easter holiday, I gave a bunch of people kilos of tomato sauce and kilos of spaghetti. Not all, just a bunch. And what happened was, now when I walk down the block, people are asking me for tomato sauce and spaghetti. But that's over. Easter is over. That's it. That's all there was. I gave out a substantial amount of that stuff. And I'll also say that in retrospect, I have been here doing things for several years now. And when the same locals that asked me for free foods and money for tandoori, which I don't give money for tandoori anymore, and or cigarettes, and I don't give money for cigarettes anymore, I will tell you that in the several years that I have lived where I lived, when they saw myself and Daisy busting our backs doing something in the yard, or dragging a piece of wood off the beach, or doing something when they're sitting around doing nothing, just yards away from where I live. And never one time has anybody offered to help free of charge, even though they're not intelligent enough to know that if they offered to help me and I accepted their help free of charge, I would pay them, or give them something to make up for their time. But so what the way it is here in the Philippines is that we're rich, the foreigners, and everybody knows this. And it's okay for them to ask, and it's okay for them to ask. And when you deny their requests, they don't get upset. They just look at it like they tried. But the fact that I gave out so much sauce and spaghetti, or X amount of sauce and spaghetti, and I gave it to the people that the certain people that my inner circle of friends that get my emails, when I gave it to them, or they know where it went, and they know who my friends are. Let's put it like that. And that's not on my Patreon account. So if you're going to sign up looking to see my inner circle of friends, I'll tell you, don't waste your time or your money. That stuff only goes out to a select few. But that's the way it is here in the Philippines. It's an amazing thing. But moving back, let's get to Big E's comments. The Catholic Church, says Big E, the Vatican. It's a cult, and that's all it is. Now, in Big E's show last night, he explained how it works. Now, I have the statistics in my head of how much money the Vatican has given out because of accusations against priests, bishops, and cardinals, and or church organizations associated with the church. It's somewhere close to the $5 billion number since the accounting has been started. Now, I think it was in the 80s or in the 90s. Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith, is in the house. In the 80s or the 90s, it could have even been the 2000s. Just one example of the Catholic Church, aka the Vatican, paying out payoffs to, hush money to the, I think, if I remember correctly, and I do, there were 200, it was a joint effort lawsuit of 200 people that filed charges against a few priests and maybe higher ups. I don't remember the exact article, but it was 200 people. And each one of those people received $1 million. And that was not a lot of money. There have been families and lawyers and that have received $5 million US. But this goes on all over the world in every country. We only just hear about what was given to the lawyers in the American lawsuits, or Italy, Italian lawsuits, maybe even Germany and France. We don't hear about all of that stuff. But I think the total, someone had an article up on YouTube, and it went through all the lawsuits. A total of $5 billion has, not 5 million, but $5 billion has been doled out as hush money. And in Big E's show, he explained, if a priest gets accused of pedophilia or wrongdoing, they immediately move the priest to another country like Uruguay or Panama or someplace in South America or Africa as a missionary, and they pay the family off to not mention it again. Now, you got to understand something. If the family says, no, we're not going to take the money, well, they're not going to, and they're going to be in court for years. So they just typically take the money, and you don't hear about the case. It's never made public, direct, and you don't hear about it. But somehow somebody got the records or from inside, whatever, inside information. So Biggie said it was a cult and explained to you what I just referenced you, that the church, all churches, now this is not just the Catholic Church, the Judaic philosophy is wrought with this, but you will never hear about that aspect of corruption, not from the media and not from the Jewish organizations that work with the churches. So I don't get into organized religion because they are hypocritical. And in Big E's show last night, where he is going to start collecting super chat, he was playing a joke on people, saying that if people lie about any topic, that you should address that issue, and you should not let the person get away with lying. And he was doing it as an April Fool's joke. You people don't get it. You just don't get it. No matter what I show you on YouTube, no matter how many articles I've shown you, no matter how many videos I did about pumping chemicals into children's arms 10 years ago, no matter how many videos I did, you just looked at them as if I was crazy. Well, I'm not. And now it's all happening. So then you could say, well, it's not happening, because the newspapers tell you it's not happening. Most of the people that watch YouTube videos, they won't do any research on their own. And moving on, I gave the organized religion. Biggie says, I gave up on organized religion long ago. And so did I. Let me tell you, I could tell you the day I gave up on organized religion. It was the day I discovered the Ark of the Covenant on the dollar bill, because I had spent so much research on the pictographs and pictures of the dollar bill that when I saw the Ark of the Covenant on the dollar bill, I was reading about it in the Bible. At the same time I saw the Ark for the first time, I realized that it wasn't God that put the Ark of the Covenant on the dollar. Long before that, in the year of 1988, that was in the year 2000, 2001. But that was the day. Long before that, in 1988, I knew for a fact that the Bible wasn't written by what we call God. I knew that for a fact because of an experience I had in a hotel room at the Knights Inn in Traverse City, Michigan. Okay? Nothing could have done what happened to me during that spiritual experience. Nothing from a biblical point of view could have done that. Only something otherworldly could have done that. And clear. Not because the fact that of what happened was a miracle, but it was a miracle where I was testing whether or not it was God, and it was not. So don't mistake fact from fiction. Do miracles happen? Yes. But whatever it is that wrote the Bible and created the pictographs on the dollar bill is not God, as we know God. But you can reach to higher states of consciousness to know God through spiritual awareness. But you're not getting there with hymns and Bible study and sitting in boxes and thinking they're going to come into this box and divinely inspire you. Probably it won't happen. It'll probably happen more often if you were taking a walk through a forest, or swimming, or fishing, or just sitting in a park watching a bird fly from one place to another. I have a friend of mine named Paul in Michigan. Him and I were talking about mystical experiences, and he was sitting next to a tree, and there was a red cardinal, and he said to himself, I would like that red cardinal to land on my shoulder. And it did. And that brought him to a higher plane of consciousness. When the red cardinal landed on his shoulder, he became cosmic consciousness, or Christ consciousness, or illuminated, or aware, cosmic consciousness, cosmic awareness. But that was what set his mystical experience off. So it could happen, but I don't know of anybody who was ever sat in a church and became enlightened. Not one person. And when it happened to myself, and I went to the local church and talked to the local priests that I knew since I was a child, well, their belief is that what I was experiencing was not from God. And I'll leave it at that. But I argued points about spiritual enlightenment with priests, and they said that it was not, God would not give me the ability to be spiritually enlightened or illuminated. God would not give it. Even the priests don't get that. Well, they don't get it because they've been brainwashed with all that nonsense they believe in since the time they were brainwashed with all that nonsense they believe in. Now, let's get back to the comments. Biggie says, listen to what Biggie says in the comments, because his words, he has more Bible study than anybody I know personally. So I'm going to read the comment. The truths and principles of the Bible. Yes, I believe, but the religion part in modern times, no. Okay, so the truths of the Bible, he believes. And I believe in the truths of the Bible. I believe in a lot of stuff that the Bible has to say, but organized religion, no, it's organized religion. If you studied the history of the church, here's just one factoid, and then I'm going to go to the wordsmith, Scott Del Fuego. One factoid is the Catholic Church / Vatican has had more people killed and executed than all the wars in all of history combined. Otherwise known as a glorified janitor from some guy that said that. I forgot what guy that was. In uncertain times, Scott Del Fuego says, people need a sense of comfort. A man like Michael provides knowledge, strength, and generosity to those around him. He is a calming presence for his neighbors in difficult times. Thank you, Scott. Well, my neighbors love me, although I've heard stories about how my neighbors spit on the floor when I walk by. That's not true. So, but Scott is one of the few that knows that to not be true. Expat Prepper. Michael, if anyone approaches you and says they're Jesus Christ, just look down at your feet, and if you're still standing on planet Earth, that person is a liar. Probably. I would agree with that. Thank you, Larry. I've had some pretty intense mystical experiences, says Big E. Very real and shocking. Happened many times over the years. Now, one way to reach the highest planes of consciousness in the mystical realm is isolation, which is what the Buddhist monks do. Another way would be, when I say isolation, they call it, there's a word called mountain fever. Mountain fever. It's when a man goes into the forest by himself and spends over 30 days in the forest by himself with no conversation, no cell phones, no radios, no nothing, just himself and his survival techniques or tactics. At some point, that person is going to become aware that of a bigger part of the universe that they never saw before. And they understand that and call that mountain fever. It's what they try to make happen in a Zen Buddhist monastery by eliminating, well, when I was in one, eliminating phones, television, radio, eye contact with anybody else that was doing sashin, and no conversation. Okay? And you move to planes of consciousness where you couldn't even possibly imagine. But when you are doing it out on a mountaintop, you have a realization and a visualization that you're not completely fully aware of what's happening or how to deal with it. When you do it in a monastery where someone brings you to that level of consciousness, at least you have a little background of what's happening to you. Because some people move into that state of consciousness and they they lose the ability to comprehend reality. Let's call what we live in reality and what they live in non-reality. They might think they can do things that they can't do. So to have a guide, a guru, or a mystic teaching you is probably better, but it might not happen while you're in the presence of that person. However, if it happens when you're not in the presence of that person, you will at least had a basic education as to how to handle it. It's like driving a car. If someone just gives somebody a car and they never saw a car before, well, they might figure it out. But if you go to driving school, you'll have an understanding of how to drive the car. It's the same thing with the mystical experience. It happens to people, 1 in 10,000 people it happens to. There's a good book. I'll give you the name of a good book. It's the only book I ever read that gives you the names of all the people that most people are familiar with their names, like Henry David Thoreau, Jesus Christ, Buddha, Walt Whitman, many of the mystic masters from the Eastern philosophies, Mahatma Gandhi, Muhammad, all of these people reached higher planes of consciousness. And they all had something to say about their awareness, their super awareness, their cosmic consciousness. This book, whose title that I'm going to give you in the comment section, is a book that gives you, it was either 94 names or close to 100. So let me get that thing. It's Cosmic Consciousness by R.M. Buck. Now, if you want to see a book and you want to read a book about higher planes of consciousness and to see how many people have actually experienced cosmic consciousness that you have never heard about their experience, because they don't talk about it in and of itself. They've shared their experience with their inner circle of friends, and now this person, R.M. Buck, wrote a book about it, and he did a culmination of all the people that you've heard. Most of the people in the book, you've heard their name, but you didn't know, and they were famous, but you didn't know that they reached those planes of consciousness. Okay, so we're back to Scott Del Fuego. I've had some intense mystical experiences, says Biggie, very real and shocking, and happened many times over the years. And it does for certain people that are tuned into the universe. No matter the crazy stuff that I do or Big E does or anybody does, doesn't mean they have not the ability to attain cosmic consciousness or Buddha consciousness or Christ consciousness. One thing has nothing to do with the other. If anything, the higher planes of consciousness allow you to be a better person and a more understanding person, but you also have the understanding that you don't have these rigid guidelines set by some false religion or cult. You're not bound by their philosophies. You're not bound by their principles. You're not bound by their beliefs. Like I said, when I was in a higher state of consciousness, I talked to a priest in my parish. He said I was crazy. Okay, so I was to him because he couldn't understand how I could hear his thoughts that were inside his mind. And when I started telling him what he was thinking, it spooked him. And probably, well, it should, because that's one of the, what we call parlor tricks that you have the ability to do. You have the ability psychically to hear thoughts or premonitions or see premonitions, because that is when you're moving into these higher planes of consciousness, you realize that thought is just a frequency, and you move into the frequency that you can hear the thoughts that are important to you. If you're having a conversation with somebody, those are the thoughts that are important to you at that time. If you wish to know knowledge, the knowledge will just come to you. You don't have to read a book. It might be in a book. Someone may have said it, but you don't need the book to know the knowledge. That's the mystical experience that people don't get. Scott Del Fuego says, certain tribes in South America jungle worship a deity that is tiny, frail, elder, with orange hair and teeth of a crocodile. He has no name and is feared for a terrible temper and breathing smoke. Okay, so I've read about the South American peyote ceremonies, and I've seen this. They found not so long ago, they found a little man about this big made out of gold, and the detail was amazing. When I say not so long ago, I'm talking 100 years ago. And that's the man that Scott Del Fuego is explaining. That's the man that the little statue that was found in South America, the little statue that was the orange-haired, big teeth, crocodile teeth, fire-breathing statue. That's the guy that Scott Del Fuego, the little statue that Scott Del Fuego is describing. So, Big E. Last I did a study on the total they killed. Catholic Church killed more than 68 million people in history. So, last Big E, so 68 million people. So, 69,000 or 68,000. But the total the Catholic Church killed, but that's just the numbers that were recorded. How many hundreds of thousands or millions were not recorded? So the number is astronomical. Thank you, Big E. Big E says it dwarfs Hitler, Stalin, or Mao. And that number does. I think Mao killed 30. The Catholic Church, I mean, they would slaughter entire segments of society. You know, they had no mercy. You know, when I don't know much about how the Muslims took over the Middle East. I don't know. I don't remember much about how that happened. But the Muslims taking over all the countries and instituting the law of Allah had no comparison whatsoever as to what the Catholic Church did to the world. I mean, you only hear about the Muslims because the Catholic Church runs the newspaper industry and the papers, the magazines and the journals. You don't hear how the Catholic Church slaughtered witch doctors and medicine men in the tribes of the people in places like Borneo and Africa. They would go in and kill the witch doctor and they'd install a priest and they'd start a new religion. That was how they did it. And anybody that believed still in the witch doctor's philosophy, they were also slaughtered. You people don't get it. If you knew the history of the Catholic Church, although it's changed, how has it changed would be my question. When I go into the city and I see the biggest church in the city expanding exponentially up, left, right, can't go much further back because there's a road back there, and not forward because they need a place for the people to gather in front of the church. But the church, when I got here, was 3 stories. Now it's 7 stories high. It was only a certain amount of width, and now it's twice the width. And it's there in front of the Catholic Church, just like they have in St. Peter's Cathedral or St. Peter's something, Basilica. They took the spire out of Egypt. They put an Egyptian spire in front of the church. You people think that this is ornamentation? No, this dates back pre-Christianity. The people that control this world, if you want to call them people, control the Catholic Church. Whatever they are, human, not human, reptilian, not reptilian, whatever they are the people responsible for the building of the Great Pyramid. They are the people that allowed the lost colony of Atlantis and Lemur to exist and build up and become powerful. And then they destroyed those civilizations. There is pretty much nothing left from Atlantis except stories. The Egyptian culture built up far beyond anything we have in today's world, technology-wise. We couldn't build the Great Pyramid today; it wouldn't be possible. The stone structures in the Pakistan, I think it is, or Turkestan, they have stone structures on mountains with stones that weigh 1,200 tons. Could we move a 1,200 ton rock? Yeah, we probably could. Could we get it on a mountain to fit next to another 1,200 ton rock where you couldn't fit a razor blade between the stones? Not so easy. And could we put a dozen of them up there or 100 of them on the top of the mountain with no road to the top of the mountain, by the way? There's no road etched into the mountainside where these stones form huge monoliths, megaliths. I keep telling you, go to the channel called New Earth, all one word, N-E-W. I'll write down the word, New Earth, New Earth. Let me get that Cosmic Consciousness by R.M. Buck thing again. New Earth, New Earth. New Earth. My keyboard is screwing up. Okay. New Earth. This woman who does videos on the megalith structures and the mining of this planet or this flat plane that has gone on for eons of time, she proves it. There's no doubt that she proves that the earth has been mined for its minerals for millions of years. Because I often say, welcome to the machine, Dennis Adam. I'm down at the bottom. I'm gonna go through the comments in a minute. Arcelius Corner and the Dennis Adam has. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for the information. Dennis says, free to anyone. The Universal Church, the Universal Life Church Ordinance. Okay, wait a second. Dennis Adams said, free to anyone. The Universal Life Church ordination at the Universal Life Church is completely legal. It's cost-free and isn't complicated. All done online. Legally perform marriage ceremonies. I'm going to get on that, Dennis. In fact, I'm telling you, this woman proves by not saying a word, not instituting a single fact. She just shows you tens of thousands of lineal miles of mining operations that are millions of years old, and says, how did this happen? Do mountains erode in a step-like plateau, 100 feet of step, and then 70 feet of rise, and then 100 feet of step, and then 70 feet of rise, and 100 feet of step, and 70 feet of rise? A step and a rise is how you build a staircase. The step is the flat part. The rise is the height of the back of the step. There's tens of thousands of miles of these staired plateaus all over the world in every soil condition that makes the world's biggest mining operation for copper, I think it's in Brazil, makes it look like child's play. But it's exactly the same formation. You people think you know history. You know nothing about history. And that's the way the Vatican wants to keep it. Okay, so we're going to get back up. Oh, the Inquisitions. I was going to get to that. Yes, Big E and Cebu. The Inquisitions. Oh, my God, the stuff they did to those people. You're welcome to post whatever you like. I'm not going to take the time to read it, argue it, and concur with you. Please, by all means, post whatever you like. But my commentary, I'm not even going to read your comments. I just am not going to do it. But you're welcome to post whatever you like. But you're not going to gain anybody's. I just don't see preaching as a means to gaining people, preaching from the Bible per se. But you're welcome to do it as expat prepper. Expat prepper. After being baptized by John the Baptist, Jesus was tempted by the devil for 40 days and nights in the Judean desert. That's when Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan." So remember, I'm not going to read your comments. LOL. So Scott says, it's so funny that people think others crazy because they explore experience beyond the narrow scope of accepted reality. I think it's crazy to find the 5% of existence man has accepted is reality. I got to read that again. Scott Del Fuego says, it is so funny that people think others crazy because they explore experience. They explore/experience beyond the narrow scope of accepted reality. And I did so because I had the time. Most people don't have the time as part of that caveat. I think it's crazy to find the 5% of existence man has accepted is reality. Okay, so we don't know anything about our past. So I'll give you one more example. And I've given this example before. The giants that walked the earth. The Museum of Natural History had the largest collection of giant skeletal bones that weren't fake in the world. And then there was and all over the entire world, places like Kansas and Kentucky and Indiana and Italy and Germany and Ireland and Scotland, they all found the remains of giant bones. People, some as tall as 30 feet, 10 meters tall, 36 feet, there were a few of. And all those bones have vanished. Now, people say, oh, they were made in plastic casts. No, they weren't. They were not made in plastic casts. They were physical bones of the giants spoken about in the Bible that walked the earth. But the Vatican or the powers that be do not want you to know about those people because it brings the timeline of the Bible much further back in history. That Big E also agrees that the world, he believes in the old world. He believes the world is much older than 6,000 years. He said that in a show a few days ago. Now, if the world is older than 6,000 years, then the Bible doesn't hold true. But the Vatican controls the Americas and England. So therefore, those giant bones had to be destroyed. And maybe the Vatican has the bones, and maybe the Museum of Natural History has the bones. But they destroyed these bones back in 1908. All bones, all over the world, in every museum, systematically were destroyed. Whatever wasn't destroyed was bought by the Museum of Natural History, and they destroyed it. The largest selection of giant bones with skulls 5 feet tall, they're all gone. There's no vault that anybody knows of that there's any bones left, because that predates the Bible, and we won't have anything interfering with the Vatican Church and the Bible. If you're asking if the author, Django Grand, if you're asking if the author of the book of Cosmic Consciousness, R.N. Buck, had those skills, no. He was just a writer that did research. He may have, that may have brought him, but per se, does he Does he say in the book that he was enlightened? No, he does not, to answer your question. Biggie says the Vatican also had the Inquisitions. They killed millions, thousands. They did some of the strangest stuff to people, and you don't hear about that. Okay, Django Grand kill women or children or aged infirm person. Well, that sounds like what's going on now, actually, to be honest with you. Do not cut down fruit-bearing trees. I like that one. Do not destroy inhabited place. I like that one too. Do not slaughter sheep or burn camels except for food. Okay, that makes sense. There's not good to waste food. Do not burn bees and do not scatter them. Do not steal from the booty and do not be cowardly. Was burned at the stake for translating the Bible into English. I remember vaguely that story. Top grammarian in the world at the time. So Biggie is saying that the person, see, the Bible, this much I know about the Bible, it was originally written in Latin, so that with the body of Christ while you're still walking the earth. And that's enlightenment. Christ was saying to you that lest you become as a child, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. It's a phrase that you wouldn't understand unless you had a good understanding of the Bible, but also if you were enlightened. Enlightenment is something that allows you to read the words of the Bible as they were written by the author. In other words, when you become enlightened, you don't read the Bible anymore as it's interpreted through religion. You actually have an insight into the author's mind. That's enlightenment. You're not reading the words gold or white or seven trumpets as physical trumpets. I make mention of the seven trumpets in my book, Angels on the Ark. Okay, there are seven trumpets on the dollar bill. There are the 24 elders on the dollar bill that worship the Lord both day and night. There are biblical phrases depicted in my book, Angels on the Ark, that exist on the dollar bill. But I didn't get those understandings by reading the Bible. When you want to believe that the words in the Bible and the words of some lowly priest or preacher in some box in the middle of nowhere is the word of God, and that for a small fee he will give you an annulment or baptize you in water. Man, I got to tell you, that was probably the most horrifying experience I ever went through. I did it with the Seventh-day Adventists. I did it as a lark to see what's going on and to baptize us in water. So we went to mile marker 91 on US 1. I forgot the name of it was behind a restaurant. I forgot the name of the restaurant. And they put us, and it was really windy. And the guy who turned out to be the biggest thief I ever met in my entire life, he was baptizing people in the water. And he grabbed some woman, she knew she was going to be dunked under the water. And he forgot to hold her nose. And he put her head under the water backwards, and she almost had to be resuscitated because he was holding her head down and praying. That's a bunch of nonsense. So let's get back to the comments. Okay, Dennis Adams gives us the information. Django, if it's hidden, probably one of my I can't see the comment. Let's see if I can read that, if it's able to be read. Well, that I'll read the comment, but I won't post it. Big E said that the way of life for the Muslims is different than what we hear from the newspaper propaganda. So I guess I could see that as being true. Thank you for the comment. Big E has more of an understanding than I do about that. Well, I never heard that Allah created Adam and he was 60 cubits tall. Then he said, go and greet those angels and listen to how they greet you. I don't know anything about the religion of Islam, and if that's the belief, that's okay. But like Expat Prepper, you're welcome to post this stuff so that other people can do the research on it. But I'm gonna pass on some of the comments. LaRue Seagrass. Now, if you want to see a person that truly believes in God, LaRue Seagrass, she's the girl that you want to go see. Praise the Lord. And every sentence, every word, every greeting, every upload. LaRue Seagrass is a true believer in God. So welcome to the machine, LaRue. Thank you for stopping by. And then we're going straight to Warren in a minute. So LaRue is going to start saying hello to everybody as she's saying hello to Scott. And John Escape is saying hello, Mike. Okay, so they're going to say hello to each other. And I'm going to read a few things about Warren H. that I have noted down here. Okay, so the first thing and the most important thing is I spoke with Warren yesterday. He was drugged up. Oh, God, he was drugged up. He was drugged up as bad as my friend Tommy. When Tommy worked for me for over 20 years. And to watch that, to talk to Warren and to see him drugged up like that was just really put a burden on my head, okay? Tommy did go through chemotherapy and did survive. He was probably one of the few people in the world that I would equate with my skill set. He could do anything. He could do plumbing. He was really good at electric, better than me, running wires and boxes. But I can do it, but to him it was a natural. He was a master carpenter. He could build cabinets. He was a master plumber. He knew all the codes in his head. Sheetrock, drywall, taping, flooring, like Scott Del Fuego did with the parquet flooring, even setting tile. He was a master at that stuff. And he got sick with cancer, throat cancer. And he lost 40 pounds. He was, you wouldn't, unrecognizable. But he lived, and he got strong again. The one thing that he didn't like to do was, when I bought a barge, he would work on the barge, but he wouldn't, but he wore a life jacket, even though he was an excellent swimmer. He wore a Coast Guard rated life jacket, but he didn't like working around the edge of the barge. He'd set the cables on the pilings. He'd do the welding. He'd do the cutting. He would help me with changing the oils on the engine, stuff like that. Cutting lumber, tipping off we had sometimes 60-foot sticks on the barge, 3 feet in diameter. He'd tip off the sticks, but he didn't like working around the water because he had a hole in his throat. And first time he breathed in, when he fell in the water, he would probably die. But that's what it reminded me of. Talking to Warren yesterday, it was terrible. Warren was going in for a cancer treatment. But he did say, I spoke with him twice. I spoke with him at my time, 3 o'clock in the morning. I just figured I would try, and I got him. And I've told you people this before. It's just amazing living in the Philippines. So the information that he originally requested to send me money for the computer, he gave to the bank, and it wasn't enough. And then they asked him in a form for my complete information, including the number that my bank forgot to give me. So included in the form was, I don't have the form up, but you need to have the address of the bank. You need to have the routing number for your account and the code for that bank. You also need to put your name as it appears on your bank book. You need the city that the bank is in, and there's a code for your bank. They wanted the code for the bank each. So in other words, there might be 10 banks with the name of my bank, but they want the code for the bank that the money's to be deposited in so they can collect interest on it. So it was a pretty simple form that I gave Warren, and I'm not sure if he got the form to his solicitor or the bank representative. But he said he was going to send it out then, because 3 o'clock in the morning for me is much later for Warren. But then when I talked to him at my 9 a.m., he was going in for a cancer therapy, chemotherapy again. He said, so I have not bought the computer. That's the computer update. His blood pressure went up several points. He was out of the ICU for the first time in several days. He was distraught. I never saw Warren like that before. He was distraught. Because that he was so drugged up, he was embarrassed because he wasn't able to speak properly. I understood his words, but he was embarrassed that he was so drugged up. And then the nurse came in and took him away to get a cancer treatment. On the upside, he bought, I don't know if any of you people out there are into guitars, but last month, he bought, I don't know what this is, but I heard the name. He bought a 1963 Fender Stratocaster guitar. And it was delivered. And he was very happy about that. And he started playing me a tune on the guitar as we were talking, and the nurse came into the room. So he was going, this is my Fender Stratocaster. So I'll go back to the comments. But I will tell you that I didn't hear from Warren today. So his treatment was in the afternoon yesterday. Typically, it puts him back in the ICU for 4 or 5 days. One thing that my close inner circle of friends, when the videos get loaded, I talk about it briefly in what I have been doing for the last few days, but not even my Patreon members. My Patreon members may or may not see it, but it won't be for the lower pledges. Well, it will be, but it's going to get sent out via email. It won't be sent out on Patreon. I wasn't online yesterday for sure. And I did make a mistake, though. I'll ask everybody this question. When I did my video recording, because the live stream where I was working was no good, so I did a 3-hour video recording. Each video is 46 minutes long, and then there's a 27-minute video. It was upside down. I put the video, the tablet, upside down. So in other words, these buttons on the tablet should have been up. But when I put it on the frame that I have that holds it, I put it upside down. Is there a way to turn the video right side up? Because otherwise it's 3 hours of upside down video. But you'll be able to see what I was doing. That's the important part. Of course, people like Dennis Adam, who are not members of my Patreon community, but are my personal friends, will get the copy, as he got the copy of the video I sent out this morning. So there are people that I've been friendly with. There are people that used to have YouTube channels that get my updates. And Dennis Adams is just one of many. But their names don't want to be associated with one another through my email. So sometimes it takes several minutes for me to post the emails to the different people individually. So I've been slacking on that the last couple of loads, but nothing really important. But my inner circle now knows that I keep busy when I leave the front of the computer screen, which brings me to the point. Maybe if there were people out there that are complaining about the lockdown, maybe if you had a hobby, a real hobby like modeling, or I don't know, maybe if you had a real hobby, you wouldn't be bitching on the computer every day, all day, 7 times a day. Maybe if you had a real hobby, you wouldn't be frustrated. This lockdown to me means nothing. My life hasn't changed one bit. Not because of where I live, but because I keep myself busy. I always have something to do. There is no time during the course of the day that I have that's free. Even when I'm watching somebody else's video, it's usually in the background of what I'm doing, unless I'm recording for myself. But people that are walking around complaining about the lockdown, that they can't go to the beach. Why do you have to go to the beach to get outside and get exercise? I don't understand that. Why can't you just walk around your house? Just walk around the house. That gives you the exercise you need. I won't tell you who or the name of the woman, but there's a woman that lives by me. When you walk past her gate, you'll see her walking back and forth all day. She does that. And she's 54 years old. She looks like she has the body of a 21-year-old woman. She probably walks 10, 15 kilometers a day around her house. And she doesn't walk anywhere else. She doesn't open up the gate. None of the neighbors talk to her, and she doesn't talk to any of the neighbors. She's one of those, well, I guess you could call it, I think she has somewhat of an education, but she certainly is in a different class of Filipino upbringing than the rest of everybody on the block. But that is confirmed by, there's let's say there's 150 Filipino people on my block, and let's say there's 60 adults. And let's say immediately around her house are 12 or 13 houses. Nobody talks to her. She doesn't talk to anybody. If you see her in the street, she'll say hello, but she does not, no visitors, none, zero. It's a different class of Filipino. But my point was, she walks around her house and gets all the exercise she needs. And I got to tell you, she's got legs and arms and like a torso of a 21-year-old woman. And I'm not being facetious. I mean, If you look at her from 100 feet away or 50 feet away or from the back, you're going to say, oh my God, look at the body on that kid or that girl or that woman. That's what you're going to say. And all that is from just getting exercise. You don't have to be. Now, myself, I probably should get more exercise. I haven't swam in the last couple of days because, well, when I was done doing what I do, that my friends know what I do that I was done doing, the tide was low. And you can't go swimming at low tide. The water is different quality. So, okay, so let me get back to the comments. LaRue and John and Dennis are all saying hello. Yes, Django Grant, the routing number, but it also has a code that to the bank. It's different than the routing number. The bank itself has a 4-digit code. So the routing number, let's say the routing number is 10 digits. The bank has a 4-digit code. Well, mine does anyway. Besides the code that you need for the name of the bank. So let's say the name of the bank is Bank, BANK. And then there are 10 banks with the name Bank in the city of Bahal, Tagbilaran. Each one of those banks has a 4-digit number. So you know where you're sending the money. So maybe one bank is closer to my house and I want to send it to there. You can get the money from any bank. But if the bank that you send the money to is the bank that collects interest on the money until you use the money. So I would send it to the bank that's closest to where I go shopping or in a mall itself. And you'd use that 4-digit number. The routing number is your bank account. That's two different things. One is for the bank code, for the name of the bank, and one is for the individual bank, to answer your question. So Django says, Django Grand, see, there are people with, if someone, I hear stories that I'm going out of my mind on YouTube. No, because I have things to keep me busy. And if I don't have something to do, I can go to one of my neighbors' houses and sit down and chit chat with them, even for 15 minutes. How many bloggers in the Philippines, I did not make a video of it, but on Saturday before Easter, I went around giving out the spaghetti and the sauce to some of the neighbors. On Easter morning at 7 a.m., I went out and gave some more to the immediate neighbors. And then later on, I gave more out to some other people. But on any given day, if I feel like talking to somebody, I just walk down the block and sit or stand or chit chat with my neighbors. Now, if I don't want to do that, we are free to walk on the beach and go swimming. And we're even free to go out in a small fishing boat, like those 10-foot boats that you could paddle or with a motor. We're free to talk to each other on the beach. Some people wear the mask, some people don't. What I typically do is just put on, well, I have my snorkel and mask on, so I don't worry about that. But my day hasn't changed one bit. But if you're getting cabin fever, then get your little butt ski outside ski and walk around your house and stop complaining. There's nothing to complain about. If you need exercise, there's no reason why you can't get exercise by walking around the house. Now, what I do is a little bit different. I get my exercise pretty much in a couple of different ways. But of course, that's not it's not cardiovascular exercise, but it's strength exercise. So from what I do, it keeps my muscles toned up. For my mind, it would be impossible for me to get cabin fever under these conditions. Why? Let's say I get bored. I go on Skype and I call somebody from another country, and then we talk on Skype, and we can talk typically an hour. Let's say I get bored. I can go to my videos, find some obscure video like I did yesterday, and post it on Patreon. Let's say I get bored. I can go look for videos with no names on them, review them, and then if they're worthy to post to Patreon, post them, or make a list of those video names as potential posts to Patreon. Most of those are, I think I posted a video of me on a lobster boat yesterday, and I hadn't seen that video in a long time. I liked it, so I posted it on Patreon. But I keep myself busy, but anybody that's complaining that they're having problems dealing with this lockdown, that's a personal problem. You need to find yourself something you could do. Django Grand says his hobby is computer coding. His day hasn't changed one bit. He sits in the house and punches numbers into a keyboard. So maybe you could tell me, Django Grand, how do I get the video that when I loaded it to YouTube, it loaded upside down? How do I get it to load right side up? Oh my God, LaRue Seagrass, you're 57. My girl, and you must do a lot of walking because you don't have any extra weight on your body, babe. You are slim and fit. Wow, I didn't know you did that walking. Wow, that's great. How many miles, kilometers a day do you walk, LaRue? If I might ask. I mean, and you have to walk a certain way. You can't walk like an old lady and expect to build up your endurance. And by the way, anybody who believes inside their little brain that they are in good condition, the way to test your conditioning is to get outside at 1 o'clock in the afternoon today, okay, and walk briskly 5 kilometers around your house or to the beach, okay, in the sun, in the hot sun, the hottest part of the day. Walk briskly in the hot sun. And if you think in the deepest depths of your mind that you're in better condition than me and you're around the same age and you want to wager that you're in better condition than me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to see what your age is, and I will tell you that I will keep up with anybody for 5 kilometers in the hot sun. I might be a minute before or behind, but I can keep up with anybody my age that I know of in the hot sun, except one friend of mine. Okay, but when we go walking, we walk. When I walk from the BQ Mall to the ICM Mall, that's 5 kilometers. I don't stop for breaks, and I don't slow down when I'm going up or down a mountain. I don't stop to talk to anybody. And during the course of that 5 kilometer walk at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which I did a month ago, I drank about 14 ounces of water. And that's it. I didn't drink water before, and I didn't drink water after, but I had 14 ounces of water to drink. And when I was done, standing in front of the ICM Mall, I finished off the water and put some pesos at the wet market to get some more water. But I didn't even drink that. I came home. So, but you people out there that think that slow, snail pace walk, like that you walk like something's wrong with your back or something's wrong with your knees or something like that, I dare you to challenge me to walk at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the hot sun. No, not for money, not for anything, but I dare you to try to outpace me for 5 kilometers walking up and down mountains in the hot sun, not at night, not in the morning, but in the middle of the hottest part of the day. I dare you to challenge me. I dare you to do that. I don't care where you live in Bohol. I'll meet you in front of the BQ Mall and we'll walk to the ICM Mall. Just me and you. Or if you want to have somebody else come along, follow us on a tricycle, that's okay too. But I don't need anybody else to walk with me. You people out there that think that you're in good shape, that's all in your mind, that you can walk. You walk a half a kilometer, really? And you think you're in shape? You walk half a kilometer at a snail's pace and you think you're in shape? I'm daring you. I'm daring, double daring. I'm triple daring you to meet me in front of the BQ Mall and walk with me to the ICM Mall. And we're going to walk up Garcia Boulevard. We're going to cross over at Garcia Park, President Garcia Park. We're going to walk up past the Capitol building, and then we're going to walk through the parking lot out of the Capitol building to the main road, just offset by the Q Hotel, and then we're going to make a left and go to the ICM Mall. I dare you. Okay, just get in touch with me if you think that you're in such good shape, because I keep hearing people say they're in better shape than me, but I don't see it. And am I going to do a video of me walking for an hour and a half? Probably not. Nobody wants to watch that. But if someone challenges me to a walk, I'm going to do a video because I'm going to want to watch that person do the thing that he says he can do. Now, I'm not going to challenge a 20-year-old man. That would be ridiculous. Sure, a 20-year-old man could beat me, probably double my pace. I'm 64. I want somebody within a couple of years of my age to challenge me that got these big mouths on YouTube. I want somebody to challenge me to walk with me from the BQ Mall to the ICM Mall. And I'll tell you that the first 3 kilometers pretty flat. After that, the next 3 kilometers is mountains, up and down. Roads, but mountains. And I will, by the time we get to the mountains, you'll be looking for that emergency phone call. That's how hot it is. And that doesn't bother me at all. So you people with the big mouths that are saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. Come, give me your Globe cell number. Give it to me. Or your Globe cell number. Or send me your email. And then I'll ask you for your Globe cell number. I'll find out who you are, what your name is, and who you really are. And I'll meet you in front of the BQ Mall. And we will do that walk. And I will not be shamed, even if you beat me. But somebody my age beating me, there's only one man I know that can beat me at my age. Now, I'm sure there are other men. And that man is one of the most famous men in the entire world. And he gets up in the morning and starts working out at 4:30 in the morning and doesn't stop until he goes to sleep. That's his life. But nobody, no normal person with the blah, 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 big mouth, tough guy, hat on backwards, none of you guys out there can do that walk with me at my age, and you're close to my age. You're just all mouth. Nothing but mouth. That's all you are. That's all you ever were, and that's all you ever will be. Because I keep seeing people in the comments, you're fat, you're obese, you're overweight. Well, just take that little walk with me, and we'll see who has the higher endurance and the more stamina. Because I'm going to win. I'm telling you now, I'm going to win. And if you beat me, I'll just shake your hand and congratulate you. But I don't think you can beat me. I don't think it's possible for somebody my age that doesn't walk every day to beat me. Now, if you're an exercise enthusiast, then probably you could beat me. Probably you'll get there 10 or 15 minutes before I do, but I'm going to make it. I'm not going to fall down in the heat. I'm not going to collapse under pressure. I'm not going to stroke out. I'm going to laugh at the heat because I like walking in the heat. But the guys out there with the big mouths, the hats on backwards, tough guys, come, let's make that happen. Let's go back to the comments. Scott. Oh my God. I already see it. I see it coming. It's coming. All right, so Dennis Adams says if you don't use it, you will lose it. Even Dennis Adams, he works around his house, what we call tooling around your house, and then in the wintertime, he keeps busy shoveling coal and emptying ashes and bending over his stove. If he didn't do that every day, he wouldn't be able to walk at our age. We work, us men do stuff that the sissy men of the world wouldn't even begin to try to do. I mean, I'll go pound sand for 30 minutes at lunchtime if the tide is low and there's nothing else to do. I'll go pound sand for 30 minutes. I won't do it every day, but I'm in shape. You guys out there that keep calling me fat and out of shape, come and see what you got, and especially somebody my age. And Alona Beach isn't that long. We'll just do 4 laps on Alona Beach, non-stop and in the sand, not the sidewalk, not the path. 4 laps, and we'll see what you got. 4 laps. That's about. It's just under 2 miles. Just under 2 miles. Come on. Just see what you got. Let's see what you got. Big mouth is what you got. You got a big mouth, and you got nothing to back it up with except your big mouth. And then I'm going to tell you right now, you could wear a swimsuit or a pair of shorts if that's what you're most comfortable in, but you're not allowed to wear women's underwear, okay? I'm not going to be walking down the block with a guy with women's underwear on. I just want you to know that right now. Shorts, a swimsuit, a tank top, a sweatshirt, any kind of apparel, socks, no socks, sneakers, sandals, whatever you want, any apparel except women's underwear, not allowed. Not allowed. Bloomers, not allowed. I'm not walking next to a guy with bloomers on. Just want to share that with you. And back to the Scott Del Fuego says, yes, sir, we have a code, sir. Yes, sir. We always give it out, sir. Sorry, sir. We forgot we did not send the code, sir. Sir, you must know the code for us to send the code. Oh, God. You know, GE Northrop sent me $315. A bunch of other people sent me 4,000 pesos is what my end of it was. And since then, many more pesos has come in, and I can't do anything with the money. I'll when I'm done with the comments, I'll turn this around, and I'm going to show you. I tried to buy the computer online in the Philippines, and I can't take the chance of even buying the computer in the Philippines because it says you're going to an unsecure server. Return to safe place. That's what you get when you want to buy a computer in the Philippines. Now, I don't know if it's safe or not, but I can't afford to have my computer get a virus in it. So let me go back to Scott Del Fuego. Yeah, so I went to the manager of my bank, and he forgot to give me not only the bank number. The man is an idiot. Let's just be honest about the whole thing. He didn't give me the number of I sat at his desk I said, sir, what do I need to have somebody send me money to your bank? And he said, just the number of your bank account, not the zeros, and your name. And that's it. No, there was 5 more pieces of information. And he was the manager. Why? Because he doesn't know how to do his job. It's simple. I had to make the phone call 2 more times to get the bank code only. I didn't even know there was a bank number for the bank until I went online and looked up the bank. And the 5 or 6 banks that are in the general area, each bank has a different number, which bank I want to send it to. Eventually, I sent it to the bank where I got the one piece of proper information from, but after a half hour on the phone and 2 phone calls. These people don't know how to do the job that they were hired here. And their managers, the manager of the entire bank didn't know how to send the money from Australia to his bank. So does he know how to do his job? I'll say no. I don't even know what Zoom is, John. Maybe it's a way to send money, but I heard of a guy that tried to give away some spaghetti and some ketchup soup with gray boiled sausage that he made. He called it sauce. His neighbors gave it back. Is that in America? No. In America, they make gravy. They don't, and that's absurd. Gray sausages. Are you sure they were sausages and not some kind of Chinese bat sausage or something like that? John escaped. To make a good sauce takes, I'll tell you what it cost me to make a sauce when I was living in America. To fill this pot up with sauce in America, to make a good sauce, cost you $30 US, and that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. You got to buy $7, $8 worth of pork in sausages and fry, and pork to fry up to put in the sauce later on. You need 2 gallons of sauce that were probably about $4 a gallon, so that's $16. You need $1 in olive oil, $1 in onions, $17, $18 in garlic to make a good sauce, because I put 4 bulbs of garlic. That's $20. And then it takes, you can put, like with your basil and your salt and pepper, those are minimal things, but $20 is the minimum that it could cost you for the ingredients to make a good sauce. Now, if you're going to use veal, now you double the cost of the meat. Very rarely did I ever use veal. Or if you're going to double the amount of sausages, because $7 worth of pork was only a pound. Typically, I would use 2 pounds of pork. So that's already $16, and then the rest of the ingredients, about $30 to make a good sauce. But that sauce that Scott Diego's talking about, that guy, that's not sauce. Gray sausages are usually pinkish red or pinkish orange. I don't know what that guy made, Scott. And John Escape is never bored because he has the ability to see his horses or his friends' horses. So, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, he's at the track. So he keeps busy. See, some people keep busy. Like when you don't see me, I'm doing something. I'm not sitting here on YouTube. I sometimes am, but right now, I'll probably get ready to take a walk. I don't see anybody. I didn't hear anybody walk by in groups of people, but I know there's people on Alona Beach. There's always people on Lona Beach, and it's just a few minutes away. So whether they're tourists or long term, so there's going to be somebody to talk to, plus the exercise. Scott says some people are very frail and weak. That's true. They can't really even go in the heat, much less walk around in it. I've heard stories about people that are weak and frail like that. I've heard stories about people that are afraid to go outside. It's the middle of summer. It's the most beautiful time of the year, Bubba. There is no better time to walk around than when the sun hits the tarmac and it's 160 degrees on the tarmac, Fahrenheit. There is no better time to build up your body's stamina than to walk around in the middle of the hottest day of the year. And I'm talking fast-paced walk. I'm not talking about some sissy walk where you're putting one foot in front of the other, just in one foot, the heel of one foot in front of the toes of the other. That is not how men walk. Men don't walk like that. Maybe men that are injured walk like that, but real men we're talking about. Scott says what Scott says is true. Some people get a racing heart if they go in the heat. It scares them and they think they're going to perish from it. No, that's not. Just the opposite is going to happen. You're going to get stronger. You're going to build up your stamina, and you won't be bitching about being stuck in the house all day. So John and Scott are discussing chili recipes. That sounds good, John. And odes to sour cream on top of the chili and I don't like onions on my chili. I like cooked onions. They only have to be sauteed, but I won't eat raw onions. Okay, Dennis. Yeah, well, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. I'm looking at the end of a video here that it's 46 minutes long, and it's been loading since 4 o'clock this morning. And hold on. No, it stopped loading. This is another thing my computer keeps doing. It keeps stopping the upload. So 10 o'clock before I started the live stream, we were at 55%. I don't care, Dennis. It's up to the video. Whether it's upside down or not, it's physical man work. So you really wouldn't, if you didn't see my body upside down and you just saw the work happen by itself, you wouldn't know it was upside down, parts of it. Thank you, Dennis. Scott Del Fuego, and Scott Del Fuego knows I'm not kidding, because Scott Del Fuego knows me. Scott Del Fuego says, I don't see anybody challenging me. See, this is the thing here. Try to challenge Michael to that walk. Better yet, try to challenge him to a swim of 2 miles. He can keep with anyone. If you just talk, you are a nothing. Actually, you are a nothing. Actually meet him and try to keep up. Nobody, I've been saying this for 3 years. These guys, Scott, they have big mouths. Now, why though? Why? And I'll tell you why. My opinion, okay? My opinion is that they know they can't do it. Number one, they can't do it. In their head, they could do it. That's all. Number two, they've never been able to do it. Now, you hear all these stories. Like, I'll give you a great story about fictitious story. Okay, here, you see my hairline here? I don't like to talk about my hairline because, as you can see right now, my hairline has receded back. Well, I'll show you. I don't like I don't just like to talk. I want to show it to you in real life. I got to find. I took my magic markers outside. All right, this one should work. Okay, my hairline, as you're going to see right now, my hairline. I'm going to put this straight edge on here. I don't know where it is, but can you see that mark? No, I can't see it. No, can't see it. All right, let me get something better. I want to try to show you that I'm pretty upset about this. Where is my, I don't have anything to use. I got something on here. Well, I need a magic marker, and I'm not going out to get one. Let me see if I can see that mark. No, you can't see it. Oh, boy. I hate when that happens. I don't have a magic mark. I took it outside yesterday to mark a water bottle. All right, so my hairline is back 3/8 of an inch. I want to show you. This is my point is these guys got stories, I tell you, stories about their hairline not receding since they were in high school. But they got a comb over. They got a comb over. Look, see, that's a comb over. I look good, yeah? I look a little bit like Julius Caesar there for a minute. Yeah. But they got a comb over. Let's see them pull their hair back, or better yet, let's go get a haircut. Let's go get a 1/4 inch of hair on our head. Let's see if the story is really true, that the hairline hasn't receded since high school. Everybody's hairline receded since high school. But you got guys out there telling Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales about how their hair was the same today as it was yesterday, as it was in high school. These guys, Hans Christian Andersen, got nothing on these hairline storytelling guys. Now I'm telling you, my hairline's back damn near 3/8 of an inch since high school. I'm not afraid to admit it. So when you got a guy on YouTube that tells you his hairline hasn't receded since high school, and then he got a comb over like this, he got a comb over, and his hair, and you can't see where his hairline is. Does he pull his hair back like this? No, he don't pull his hair back. He puts on a hat backwards, so you can't see the hairline. And that's okay. If he's embarrassed to see that his hair has moved back a little bit since high school, nobody's hairline stays the same from high school. Nobody, except Bobby Calise. Okay, honey, LaRue Seagrass is still here. She's looking. She put a pair of eyes on the screen. I don't know how you did that, but it looks good. And I won't ever see anybody take my challenge. I get schleps like, I'm going to meet you at McDonald's. Okay, what time are you going to be there? And they tell me what time they're going to be there. And I tell them, give me your Globe cell number. Give me your Globe cell number. What is so damn hard about that? You're a foreigner. Almost every foreigner has Globe, Sun, or Smart. I don't have a Globe number. I just have Smart. Well, I'm not calling a Smart number. I'm not even going to text you on Smart. My requirement is you have a Globe. Because then if I want to text you on Smart, I got to go to the store, buy a load, and then come back so I can text you. No, you want to meet me? I'll meet you. Go out and buy a Globe card for $1, $2 now. I think they are $2. Go out and buy a Globe card if you want to meet me. And then I get these people that they want to meet you, and they want to spend 4 or 5 hours with you, and blah 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 blah. And then sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I enjoy some people that I've known for years. All the people that are my friends on YouTube that I enjoy their conversation for years, I go meet them, but I don't have a problem with that. But then you get these blah 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 people. Oh, let's we'll go about that, and they got nothing to say. But it takes me 5 hours to meet somebody for an hour and a half or 2 hours. I got to get dressed. I got to take a shower. Maybe I'm going to shave, get the camera ready, and then go there. The other one time I took a guy for a 6 hour hike. This is going back about 4 years ago. I took him on a hike with his girlfriend, and he goes, when we're done, we're going to have dinner. And the guy, you know what he buys? He buys a chicken for 165 peso chicken. Bought 2 chickens. We ate one, and he kept half, and he gave me half a chicken to take home. Cost him 300 pesos. Big sport. Okay? If I'm going to go sit down and have dinner with you, let's have dinner. If we're not going to eat food, that's okay too. I just met Nomad Patriot, and we did not discuss having food. We just discussed meeting in Alona Beach, and that was acceptable for me. That was wonderful. You know why it was wonderful? Because then when people sit down and eat dinner, they don't want to exercise after the dinner, and typically I don't do that. So when I met Nomad Patriot in Alona Beach, we just talked on the beach. We enjoyed talking at where we met in front of McDonald's, and then we took a walk through the exercise area. Then we went down to the beach and enjoyed, but we had no scheduled dinner. That's okay. I would prefer to not have dinner with people. But don't tell me you're going to take me out to dinner and I take you on a 6 hour tour and then you give me 80 pesos worth of chicken when it costs me more than that for transportation to come to Alona Beach. Don't tell me you're going to take me out for a grandiose dinner. That's pretty much how. And he was supposed to bring me a pair of Sandugo sneakers from Cebu. He didn't bring the sneakers. He didn't take me out to dinner. We sat down at the dingiest Filipino restaurant in Alona Beach at the time, and we ate a roasted chicken, and we had water. That was my feast. And you know what? The guy was wearing a Rolex. Okay, so you want to talk about two-faced. I'm going to take you out. I'm going to buy you a pair of Sandu. I couldn't find your size. All these stories from people. My hairline hasn't receded since I was in high school. Let me show you my comb over. Let me show it to you. You see, my hairline is the same as when I was in high school. No! Pull your hair back. Be a man. Show us what you can. And then I heard stories that I used to wear a rug, a toupee. And when I proved that wrong, the story changed. I never said he wore a toupee. Yeah, you did, dude. And you made me cut my hair in front of the world. And I made 47,500 pesos for cutting my hair. Who is better than me, baby? Look at this. Watch this. My hair hasn't changed since I was in high school. Look at my hair. It's the same. It hasn't changed. No, that's not how it's done. This is how it's done. Pull that bad boy back. Show us some skin. Whoa, we got a lot of comments here. I'm going to go through these comments really quick for a minute. Rocky Mike Fazio Balboa in the corner ring. Vegas won't take the odds. 2-2-2 Fox 1. Now, we had a good time, me and Fox. And Fox is does actual real men's work, not this sissy stuff going around emptying trash cans and pulling plastic bags out of containers. fox stands in front of a wood chipper or delimbs trees as they're felled, or fells the trees themselves. Me and Fox, we had a good time. We did that multiple hour walk, although it wasn't much fun because a lot of the properties put up fences when they're not supposed to put up fences. They couldn't really stop us when it came to the law about moving to the next property, but by the time we got to the fence where they wanted to stop us, we were done walking anyway. Plus, there was only, at that point, there weren't any more hotels. It was all private properties after that. You're just walking through somebody's backyard. But we had a great time, me and Fox and I. And then we went swimming. Then I got run over by a jet ski, and Fox was there. Carl was there to watch that happen. That was an amazing day. Now, he was the last person I met, but not the last person I would meet. But he was a man. He's been my friend on YouTube for, God, probably 6-7 years maybe. He would know better than me. I forget. But I'll meet anybody with a mouth, anybody without a mouth, anybody that wants to take the Fox. There's a guy, 222 Fox. Ask him if I got out of breath when we were walking. And he, who I made a mistake, I thought he was bigger than me, but then when I saw the video, I'm bigger than he is. But he was big. I'm telling this guy, 222 Fox, he's a big guy, and I'm going, look at the size of this guy. And then when we came back from the last section of the walk, I was standing in front of McDonald's, and I'm looking in the window, and I'm doing a video. I'm going, it looks like I'm bigger than he is, and I was. Not anymore, though. Maybe. I don't know if he lost weight. You better have lost weight because I did. Dennis was talking about Scott. Chili made with steak instead of ground beef. Heaven. Whoa, Dennis Adam with the high dollar chili. That's a real chili con carne sauce. So I don't know. I never had it like that. Sounds good. 2 bears. You think you know my problem, Michael? I gotta wait. I'm waiting. Here it comes. Let me read Scott's. LOL. Here comes the patented Fazio hair restoration method. Oh, God. I can't have a magic marker. Really upsetting me. But if you want to know how to restore your hair, the first step in hair restoration, I don't want to do it. I want to make people pay. I should make them pay for the hair restoration project. All right, 2 bears. Okay. Yeah, that happened. Here's the thing, 2 bears. Sometimes the computer will stay on for 3 days and not shut itself off. Last night, I restarted the computer around 10 o'clock, 9:30, and then it shut off I took a nap, and I got up at 11, and when I woke up, it was off. At 11, I put it on, and then at 2 o'clock, I went back to sleep. I laid down, and the computer went off again. So it stayed on for 3 days, then it shut itself off twice. And this morning when I woke up at 7, I put the computer back on, and by 8 o'clock when I got back from doing something, it was off again. So it stayed on for 3 days, and now, of course, it's on, but it's not I don't think it's the settings. I'll check. Thanks for the information, but it stayed on for 3 days and hasn't shut itself off in a week. And a week ago, it shut it off twice in that week. I don't know. It's not the settings. It's something else. I don't know what it is. Scott Del Fuego, here we go. This is going to be wordsmithing. I heard that there is a guy in the Philippines from the U.S. If he tried to mark the receding hairline, it would be a line across the head behind the ears. I concur. I concur. You know what he would look like? There's a guy on YouTube. I don't know who the hell it is, but there's a he comments on the troll channels sometimes. You see, he's using that. You know what that reminds me of, Scott? The guy who you're talking about. He reminds me of the Elephant Man, the hairline of the boy that was the Elephant Man, the movie. And there's a guy using the Elephant Man caricature with my name after it. Now, I only see it because I saw it, but I don't know who it is. But that's the hairline I picture that Scott's talking about, straight over the top of the head, behind the ears somewhere. That's the hairline I picture the guy that's afraid to pull his hair back. He's afraid to admit that his hair receded since high school. How vain can you be? How vain can you be? Look at this. I didn't shave, and I don't give a flying crap who cares whether or not I shave. My hair over my ears, no problem. My Shanghai comes by all the time cutting hair for 50 pesos. I get my hair cut on any day of the week for 50 pesos from one of the locals. There's 2 or 3 guys that walk around. Just that I choose to do it in the city because I make a video. The local guys, as my friends well know, I don't put my friends on YouTube. I don't put my family on YouTube. I don't put my children on YouTube. I don't put anybody that can be ridiculed by some schmuck that's going to troll their channel, troll their Facebook, troll the video I make of them. I don't put any of my friends. I have more friends than any other foreigner that I know of, and not a single one of them has ever appeared on YouTube. Do I have videos of them? Bet your ass I do, but it's only so I can send it to their email or my friends' emails. And my friends don't give up my friends' friends. Okay? Now ask anybody, ask Scott, ask Dennis if I have friends in the community. Who gives a shit? As opposed to people, and my hair hasn't moved since I was in high school. Look, take a look. My hair is the same as when I was in high school. Can't you see? LaRue Seagrass. Helmet head. Yeah, baby. That's about what it boils down to. A little short helmet. The kind with the, you know what kind of helmet that reminds me of? Too bad. The kind with the little twirlers on them, where it just covers half your head. Half a helmet head, we'll call them. That's a good one, Too Bad. Half a helmet with little twirlers on it, like you buy at the circus. Remember those? Scott says if he looked straight into a strong headwood, the hair would be flipping around 3 foot backwards. That's probably true. Not. And oh God. Warren and I were talking about Warren's hair yesterday on a more serious note. And in the last 3 days, Warren has lost a lot of hair. From the middle of his head right here, it's going bald. He still has hair in the front, but he lost a lot on the sides, and now there's a bald spot. Not in the back so much, but the middle. That would be a mohawk. Oh, that was just depressing. He was in the shower yesterday morning, and the hair came out. Michael Fazio, melted candle faces here. All right. All righty. Yeah. That's one funny, that is one funny caricature. Actually, I see that like somebody's making fun of me, right? Michael Fazio's melted candle face. Do I care? No, because it's just part of, in this case, it's YouTube comedy, in my opinion. So, do I care that he has my name? Do I even care that he uploads my videos? I could care less. I don't care when people upload the time, unless they're going to degrade me by somehow putting on additional commentary. But my videos don't embarrass me one bit. I've heard stories that my videos are embarrassing. Even my own, well, not all, but one of my own children thinks that my comedy routines might go too far sometimes, so she says. But she watches them, and I don't really care what she thinks. I don't care about what job she has. It's a good job. She makes a lot of money, but it wouldn't be something I would choose to do. And we don't get involved with our personal foibles, let's call it foibles. I make comedy videos on YouTube, and she does a job that she's really good at, but I don't agree with it. But that's okay. It's not illegal, and it's just something I would not choose to do. But it's a damn good job. If you want to talk about good jobs, clean, it's protected. It's there's nothing that could be. There's no way to say that it's a bad job. It's just something I wouldn't do. I don't like working indoors. She stays indoors all day. She's indoors all day. She doesn't do anything else. And I say to her, and if she works at night, she's indoors at night. But everybody to each his own. But she doesn't like my comedy. I don't like her job. And we talked about that when I was back in New York. So, thanks, Mike. Very true. Okay, so Fox is not saying I got out of breath, and he can if he wants, but he's as big as I am, and neither one of us got out of breath walking up and down and we were walking up and down some good inclines, but but it was hot. That was the key on that. The sun was beating off the water and onto us, and there was no wind where we were. Thanks, Fox. Okay, so Scott is going to do some wordsmithing here. Imagine moving to a small town, isolated and a small population. So everyone knows of you, but you don't make a single friend in years of being there. How unlikable you must be to not have a friend. And I have seen video proof of that. If I walked through my town during the parade, the fiesta, I would probably, and I just stopped to talk to everybody that said hello to me for a minute. I would never get through the parade process or proceedings. I would never be able, it wouldn't be a few hours to walk through the parade grounds and or where they're marching. It would take days to walk through. If I only spent a minute with everybody that said hello, Michael, or hi, how you doing, to me, knowing who I was, it would take days. And yet I watched a guy walk through a much smaller town. I watched 1,000 people walk past him, or he passed 1,000 people, and not one person said hello. So what Scott Del Fuego says is true. And then when people made note of that fact, he took the video down. So there'd be no proof of what Scott says. But I saw the video. Good night, John. Tell you what I'm going to do, folks. It's 2:22:22:22. That's the time on the clock up here in the hours. 2:22:22:22:22:22. It was 2:22:22:22:22:22. But now it's a little bit past that. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. If Scott or somebody else has a Skype or a telephone number they want me to call, let me know. If you want to say hello, Scott or Dennis or LaRue, if you have a Globe number, let me know. I'll give you a call. I'll give it another minute or so. I want to go back to my notes anyway. I got one more note. So Warren is losing his hair, and I think that was the hardest part of the conversation I had with Warren yesterday. Watching Warren, he was completely distraught. He was not himself. I think that bothered him more than anything else. Good night, LaRue. Tomorrow I'll do I have a title. I'll read the title. It's where did it go? The Church of Christians Plus gives birth to a new collection pot of ages. Pot of ages, cleft to me, super pot chat I did see. Pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages, cleft to me. Pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages, cleft to me. Super chat pot I did see. Pot of ages, cleft to me. Amen. Pot of ages. I'll give you a little what's going to happen on my next live stream. Pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages, cleft to me. Whoa, the pot is cleaving. The pot has cleft. Pot of ages, cleft to me. Pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages, cleft to me. Pot of ages, pot of ages. A super chat, a pot I did see. Pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages I did see. Pot of ages, pot of ages, pot of ages, cleft to me. I got one more thing I want to show you. So that'll give you my next. Now, it's getting really hard for me to do super chat videos because I don't want super chat anymore. And the reason for that is because everybody that was super chatting me became a member of my Patreon community at some stupid high level. So I really don't want super chat anymore. So please don't, if you're thinking about it, just forget about it for a while. Let's go for a while. Let's wait until the lockdown's over, okay? People go back to work and stuff like that, and they feel better about themselves. But I do want to show you. Okay, I want to show you that I tried to buy this computer this morning. All right, so I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to turn. See, it says Asus. Now watch what happens when I go to buy the computer. Okay, I can buy the computer with or without the money, but I'm not going to. But I just wanted to see what their shipping was. So the computer is running a little bit slow because the internet is running slow. So let's build up this page, and then we're all going to go to, you're going to see what happens when I go to purchase the computer. It sends you to a page that's not safe. It may or may not be safe, but I'm not going there. I'm not putting a virus in my computer. I just did 2 7-hour full system scans, and I am not. And there were no viruses. But again, look at this. About it, I wanted to see what they for for pricing for shipping and stuff like that. So this is the Asus Pro Duo 15. Okay, now if you go to buy it, buy now, watch what happens. Now it'll tell you to stop, back to safety. Your connection is not private. Attackers might be trying to steal information from Philippines store Asus.com. Passwords, messages. Okay, certified invalid, back to safety. So I did try to buy the computer locally this morning. Now I also went to Newegg, and Newegg's price remained the same. 123,000 pesos, I think it was. It stayed the same from last week. But it's problematic shipping to the Philippines. I don't know how I'm going to get it here. So I'm going to have to buy it here. But I'm not buying it at that store. I'm going to have to go to another place. So it stayed at 127,000. It's 143,000 pesos, just under 3,000. And that's plus 3,700, plus 4,000 for shipping. So it's 144,000 pesos. So I'll probably end up buying it here through this company called Deal King. And that's what I'm going to have to do. But I'm going to wait and make sure that Warren's donation gets here before I do that. So don't anybody, I keep hearing stories that I'm going to take the money. He's going to buy a $600 computer. What a piece of work this guy is. I'm going to take $3,000 from my friends and buy a $600 computer. See, what he's doing is he's projecting what he would do, because everything about that guy is somehow a little bit off, a little bit weird, let's say. Everything about that guy. He can't make a story. He can't keep a story. Dennis has a little dog that thinks that is a nice computer, Scott. That's the one I'm going to get too. I'm not going to change it. It's probably going to cost. Well, if I could go to Manila, I could buy it. But all computer stores in the Philippines are all closed. Every store, every mall, every computer store, everywhere. I probably could order it, but I can't even ask the store that I could order it from to order it for me. So I can't order it. And I would even order it through a store, even pay them an extra $200 or $300, because that store would be responsible for bringing it to the computer store and getting it fixed, not me. And it's an easy place to get to in the mall, but can't do it. All right, gentlemen, ladies. Oh, one more thing. I want to show you one more thing. See these glasses? They can be yours now. I found a site. Warren ordered a pair. Besides being very upset, he did order a pair of these glasses. I lost the page. Warren liked the glasses so much, it gave him something to look forward to. Jumbo yellow sunglasses. They are Amskin jumbo sunglasses. I'll put this in the. Well, I'll just give you the link. So they're $9.99. You get them, and you get them in any color. They're the same sunglasses as these. Same company, same glasses. Little different design, but they're basically the same size. So heavy plastic, 11 inches, and they're at $9.99. Let me get that link in there. That's true, Scott. Men don't wear pink sunglasses. There's no doubt in my mind that if you wear pink sunglasses, for me, it's not very manly. I have sunglasses in almost every color except pink, and that's no mistake. I have a pink shirt that says weightlifter or something on it, but I don't know. I don't have any pink sunglasses. It just reminds me of the pink shirt I wear because of traffic. When I walk around in the street, I try to wear something bright orange or bright as a safety precaution. But pink sunglasses, no, I never did that. That's for those other. I don't know if you want to call them whatever you want to call them. That's for them other guys. The other guys. Hey. Look at me. See this? Look, same hairline. Oh, baby. No, I'm not going to roll it back for you. Otherwise, I'll have to do a Michael Fazio melted candle face elephant man haircut hairline. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. Notice the control I had. I didn't drink any water. I didn't have to take a commercial break because I am in full control of my bodily functions, and I didn't have to go to the bathroom. Not like some people who can't control their urges and or needs. Could you imagine going through life not being able to control what you want to do during the course of your day? Could you imagine going through life not having, let's say you chewed gum and you didn't have a stick of gum to chew? Could you imagine going crazy because you didn't have gum to chew? For me, when I don't have something that I like or enjoy, I just do without it, and knowing that tomorrow or the next day will work just fine. Or, but to not to that's if I'm talking about going 10 or 12 hours without something. But could you imagine not being able to control your habits for 30 or 40 minutes? What a weak-minded simpleton you'd have to be to not be able to say, I'm not going to chew gum for 1 hour. Could you imagine the lack of self-control? Could you imagine having that person work for you in a job description where every 30 minutes he had to have a stick of gum and he had to stand outside and chew the gum because you're not allowed to chew gum inside a computer room or something like that? Could you imagine? You'd never be able to get a job. When people worked for me, I had rules. If I smelled alcohol on your breath when you came back from your 10 o'clock break or your lunch break, if I smelled alcohol on your breath when you came back from your break because you just had one beer, you were fired. You needed maybe next job I might hire you, but probably not. If you smelled like marijuana when you came back from your break, I fired you. Okay, I fired my own family for allowing people to smoke pot on one of my job sites. I wasn't there. And they allowed them to smoke pot on I was building a bulkhead. They allowed them, and I fired the people that smoked the pot, and I fired my family member who was supposed to be the foreman of the job. And they never came back to work because those were the rules. Now, could you imagine not having the ability to control your bodily functions, wants or needs or habits for 35 minutes? And I had a rule on my job. You weren't allowed to smoke on my job. You could smoke on your break time or lunchtime or before work, but on my job, no cigarettes. I don't want to smell it. I don't want cigarette butts on my customer's property, and I don't want you to stop to take the time to have a cigarette. Because what would happen is guys would be smoking 2 cigarettes an hour at 6 or 7 minutes a cigarette. 12 minutes an hour they'd be spending smoking a cigarette because they like to enjoy their cigarette, which meant they had to stop working. No smoking on my job site unless it's your break, period. So what would happen is they would go, well, and if you had to go to the guys that went to the bathroom too much, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go to the bathroom. Number two, yeah, you know what? Go home. Go home. Try it. Take the day off. I just not going to sit. Guys would come back 30 minutes later. Oh, yeah, I'm constipated. Yeah, constipated. I go home. Try it again tomorrow. I give them half a day off. The whole day. They'd come to work and tell me they had to use the can. They would have to go to town and use the bathroom. No, thank you. Go home. Go home for the day. Go home, enjoy yourself. No smoking marijuana, no smoking cigarettes, no smell of alcohol. And I didn't allow radios on my job either, because then you'd have conflict of thoughts, interest, people dancing, thinking about the music. We're working with power tools here. No radios, no cigarettes, no alcohol, no marijuana. Thank you very much. Scott Del Fuego says that is a nightmare to himself. Imagine being that weak. No, I can't. Because on any given day, I can say, I'm not going to smoke a cigarette until next Tuesday. Just 10 o'clock Tuesday morning. Whatever it is. And I won't smoke a cigarette till next Tuesday morning. Or I can say I quit on any given day, at any time, for any reason. I can just say I quit smoking. Or I could say I'm not going to have a cigarette until dinner. And that's what I'll do. I won't have a cigarette until dinner. Or tomorrow I could say I'm not going to wake up and have a cigarette until lunchtime when I wake up. And I won't smoke a cigarette till lunchtime. Or any cigarette for the day. Because I have the ability to control my habits. Okay? I got to tell you, 2 months ago, it's going on 2 months ago, I bought 2 bottles of tequila, 40 proof. I hadn't drank even 1 ounce of alcohol since August 7th, 8th. Not 1 ounce. And I drank those 2 bottles in about 4 days, 4.5 days, at night to go to sleep. So I drank 700 milliliters, 14. So I don't know how much that is, 700 milliliters, whatever it is, 27 ounces. So in the course of 5 days, I drank 44 ounces, 48 ounces, 54 ounces of alcohol, but it's only 40 proof. So, and that was because I felt like drinking. And also I wanted to use it to stay sleeping. So I didn't drink it all at once. I drank some at 7 o'clock. I wanted to get a good night's sleep. So I drank some at 7. When I woke up at 11, I drank more. When I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I drank more. And then the next day I did the same thing because I wanted to get a couple of days of rest. And the alcohol, I don't have pills to do that. So I used the alcohol. And after the third day, fourth day, I noticed my brain was foggy. And by the 5th day, I was out of alcohol 2 months ago. I'll never drink. I don't think I'll ever drink alcohol again. I don't think I want to. I don't think I know I don't need to. And my mind was foggy for 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks for the alcohol to get out of my system. So I can't even imagine what it's like to not be able to control what I want to do. Okay, not one bit. Not even for if someone said to me, I don't know. I can't use a good example. If someone gave me, one time I had a bottle on my roll top desk. I had a bottle of Grey Goose on my roll top desk from the year 1999, and in 2010 or 11, one of my friends came by my house, and he was in my room where I made the videos of, the Obama videos and stuff like that. And he said to me, Mike, what is with the bottle of Grey Goose? I says, damn, but I got it back in 95 when I worked at Holiday Isle. He goes, I'll give you $50 for it. I said, give me $50, it's yours. And he gave me $50 for a bottle of Grey Goose. It was a magnum of Grey Goose. Okay, it was probably worth more than that, but he wanted it, so I gave it to him. Now, should I have given it to him for free? When I say friend, I mean he would come down to the Florida Keys, and he was my friend from childhood. But this guy, he just had money oozing out of him from 12 different directions. So I took his money. But we had fun. But when we went out on my boat, I didn't ask him for gas money. And gas was $500 for the day. Okay? Sometimes he'd chip in, sometimes he wouldn't. But we had fun. But when he offered me $50 for a bottle of something that I considered worthless, I took the money. Yeah, baby. Scott Del Fuego. Now that's living life. Pizza. And Scott, I don't know if you've ever tried pizza with anchovies dipped into black coffee, but I'm talking Domino's. I'm talking Papa John's. I'm talking any pizza with anchovies dipped into black coffee. Everybody likes it. Nobody that tried it doesn't like it. It's almost like you could dip your pizza into Coca-Cola, but you can't dip it into Pepsi. Okay, but black coffee, it's 100% acceptable. Thank you, Scott. I look forward to that. All right. But we will say goodnight to everybody. Scott, do you want me to call you? I didn't see anything about calling you. Is it possible to call you? I'll wait a minute, and then I'm going to say goodbye. Oh, I can't wait to sing with Chi and Big E. Okay, so let me go to the bottom here. LaRue Seagrass. Okay, Scott. Everybody, remember those three things. It is better, the Church of Christians Plus, the placard that's going over the door. It is better for you to give to me and the Church of Christians Plus than it is for me to give to you. Jesus loves you. Amen. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. My hair hasn't changed since I was in high school. That's number 3. Number 3, I still haven't changed my hair since I was in high school. Look at my hairline. Look at my hairline. Look at it. It's the same. All right, everybody. Nice talking to you, with you, at you, and among you. I'll give you a call right now, Scott. It's going to happen as soon as I punch Skype up. Good night, LaRue. God bless, my little friend. Yes, LaRue. Are you close to us? All right, everybody. I'm going to end the stream. I'm being Permy. Jesus loves you, says LaRue. Amen, sister. Amen. And I love you, LaRue. I love watching you. I love your show. I love your videos. I love the way you talk. I love the way you animate yourself. I just love everything about you, LaRue. Nice to talk to you. I'll send me a Globe cell number. I'll give you a call. How about that? Okay? Or do a messenger thing, and I can call you on Messenger. All right, I'm being Permy. Bye-bye for now.